Your first $100,000 will take you 10 years. Your second 100,000, 3 years. Your third, maybe 2. Your fourth could show up in 18 months. This isn't motivation, this isn't guru nonsense, this is math, and nobody told you about it. You've been saving for 6 years, 6 years of packing lunches, 6 years of skipping vacations, 6 years of driving the same car while your coworkers lease new BMWs every 2 years. You check your investment account on a random Tuesday night, not because you expect anything exciting, just habit. And then you see it. $97,342. Your heart stops, you're almost there. 3 more months, maybe 4, and you'll finally hit 6 figures in savings. You do the mental math, 6 years of grinding, exposed to every financial temptation imaginable, and you resisted almost all of them. You feel proud, exhausted, but proud. Then you start thinking about the next 100,000. Another 6 years of this? Another 2,190 days of saying no to everything? You're not sure you have it in you. But here's what nobody told you. Once you understand this math, you'll realize that everything you're feeling right now, that exhaustion, that doubt, that voice asking, is this even worth it, is happening at the exact moment most people quit. The first $100,000 is a filter, and most people don't pass through it. If you've been grinding for years and wondering when it gets easier, stay until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly when the math flips in your favor. My name is Mark, and I spend way too much time obsessing over the invisible math that separates people who build wealth from people who work forever. This video isn't about budgeting tips. It's not about picking stocks or timing the market. This is about understanding the single most important inflection point in your entire financial life, why almost everyone quits right before they reach it, and why the math gets radically easier once you push through. Here's what most people believe. Building wealth is linear. You save $10,000 this year, another $10,000 next year, and in 10 years, you have $100,000. Simple math, straight line, predictable. This belief isn't crazy. It's how we're taught to think. Save consistently, and your money grows consistently. But it's also completely wrong. Wealth doesn't build in a straight line. It builds in a curve that starts painfully flat and then bends sharply upward. The problem is the flat part lasts years, and during those years, it feels like nothing is happening, like you're running on a treadmill going nowhere. This is where 90% of people give up. They look at their account after 5 years and think, I've sacrificed everything, and I barely have anything to show for it. So they stop. They reward themselves. They tell themselves they'll start again later, and they never see the curve bend. Let me show you exactly how this works. And pay attention to year 5, because that's where most people make the biggest mistake of their financial lives. Meet David. David is 28 years old. He starts investing $500 a month. He's earning a 7% average annual return, which is roughly what the S&P 500 has done historically after inflation. Let's track his journey. After year 1, David has contributed $6,000. With some small gains, his account is worth about $6,200. He looks at that $200 gain and thinks, this is pointless. After year 2, he's contributed $12,000 total. His account is worth around $12,800. $800 in gains after 2 years of sacrifice. He could have made that in a weekend of overtime. Year 3, he's contributed $18,000. Account value, roughly $20,000. Year 4, contributed $24,000. Account value, around $27,500. Year 5, contributed $30,000. Account value, roughly $35,500. David has been grinding for 5 years. He's put in $30,000 of his own money, and his investments have added just $5,500. 5 years, $5,500 in gains. He's tired. He's watched friends buy houses, take trips, drive nice cars, and he has a brokerage statement that feels like a participation trophy. This is the danger zone. This is where most people quit. But let's keep going. Year 6, contributed $36,000, account value $44,000. His gains that single year were almost $2,500. Year 7, contributed $42,000, account value $54,000. Year 8, contributed $48,000, account value $65,000. Then something shifts. Year 9, contributed $54,000, account value $78,000. Year 10, contributed $60,000, account value $92,000. Somewhere around year 10 or 11, David crosses $100,000. He's put in $60,000 of his own money over a decade. Compound interest added $40,000. Now watch what happens next. Year 11, he hits 108,000. Year 12, 125,000. Year 13, 144,000. Year 14, he crosses $200,000. Wait, it took him 10 years to get his first 100,000, but only 4 more years to get his second 100,000. Let's keep going. Year 17, he crosses 300,000. Year 19, 400,000. Year 21, $500,000. The first 100,000 took 10 years. The fifth 100,000 took 2 years. Same $500 monthly contribution, same 7% return, but radically different results. This is the curve, and David almost quit in year 5 right before it started bending. I'm curious. Drop a comment below and tell me, how long did it take you to reach your first 100,000? Or if you're still working toward it, what year are you in? I read every comment, and I think we can learn a lot from each other's journeys. Now, here's the part that really messes with your head. This isn't just math, it's psychology actively working against you. Here's the trap. In the early years, your contributions do all the work. You put in 6,000, you get 6,200. Your money earns almost nothing. So your brain creates a model. My savings equals my sacrifice. Every dollar in that account represents a dinner you didn't eat, a trip you didn't take, a car you didn't buy. And when you look at 5 years of sacrifice adding up to a modest number, your brain says, this isn't working. The reward doesn't match the pain, but your brain is measuring the wrong thing. It's measuring the balance. It should be measuring the momentum, because somewhere around $100,000, a shift happens. Your money starts earning more than you contribute. Think about that. At $100,000 with a 7% return, your money earns $7,000 in a year. If you're contributing $6,000 a year, your money is now out-earning you. You've built an employee, a silent partner who works 24/7, never takes vacation, never calls in sick, and adds to your wealth while you sleep. But this employee is useless when your balance is $10,000. At $10,000, it earns $700 a year. That's not a partner. That's a rounding error. The first $100,000 is when your money starts working harder than you do, and that's exactly why most people never get there. The system isn't designed for you to reach this point. Credit card companies, car dealerships, lifestyle brands, they're all competing for your dollars during those early years. They know that if you get to 100,000, you might escape, so they need you to quit at 40,000. Every ad you see for a well-deserved treat is an attempt to keep you from reaching escape velocity. Every "you only live once" message is engineered to stop you before the curve bends. They're not selling products. They're selling you a lifetime of working. Here's the mental model that changes everything. And honestly, this single idea is worth more than most financial advice you'll ever hear. Stop thinking about your first 100,000 as a goal. Start thinking about it as a machine you're building. Every dollar you invest isn't savings. It's a brick. You're building a machine that will eventually print money for you. But the machine doesn't turn on until you finish building it. If you stop at 40,000, you have 40% of a machine. It does nothing. It just sits there gathering dust. If you stop at 80,000, you have 80% of a machine. Still does nothing. Almost works, but almost doesn't count. But if you get to 100,000, the machine turns on. And once it's on, it starts helping you build the next machine. The first 100,000 builds itself slowly. The second 100,000 builds itself with help. The third 100,000 practically builds itself. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner, said it directly. The first 100,000 is a bastard, but you have to do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. He's worth over $2 billion, and he's telling you the first 100,000 was the hardest part of his entire journey. That should tell you something. Quick question for those of you past the 100,000 mark. Did you notice things getting easier after you hit it? I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. And if you're finding this valuable, hit that like button. It helps more people discover this video. So how do you actually get there without burning out? First, automate the pain. Set up automatic transfers so the money leaves your account before you see it. You can't miss what you never had. Make $500 a month disappear on the first and build your life around what's left. Out of sight, out of mind, into your future. Second, track momentum, not balance. Don't obsess over the number. Obsess over the trajectory. I invested $500 this month matters more than my account is at $34,000. One you control, the other is noise. Focus on the inputs, not the outputs. Third, calculate your crossover point. Figure out when your money will earn more than you contribute. If you're investing $6,000 a year at 7%, your crossover point is around $85,000. That's your real goal. That's when your silent employee starts outworking you. That's when the game changes. Fourth, protect your streak. Every month you invest is a brick in the machine. One missed month is a crack in the foundation. Miss enough months and the whole thing crumbles. Protect the streak like your future depends on it, because it does. Fifth, stay boring. The people who reach 100,000 fastest aren't geniuses. They're not day traders or crypto kings. They're boring. Same index funds, same monthly contribution, same strategy for years. Boring is a superpower when everyone else is chasing trends and timing markets and trying to get rich quick. Here's what nobody tells you about the first 100,000. And this is the part I wish someone had told me years ago. It's not a milestone, it's a filter. It separates the people who build wealth from the people who work forever, not because it's some magic number, but because getting there requires you to do something almost nobody does, delay gratification for years, with almost no visible reward, while everyone around you lives for today. The math is brutal at the beginning. It's designed to make you quit. But the math is magical on the other side. It's designed to reward the people who didn't. You're not crazy for feeling like it's taking forever. It is taking forever. That's the point. The first 100,000 is supposed to be hard. It's the price of entry into a different kind of life. But once you pay it, once you build that machine, once your money starts earning more than you contribute, the question isn't whether you can afford to keep going. The question is whether you can afford to stop now, knowing what happens next. The people who quit at 40,000 will work for another 30 years. The people who push through to 100,000 will have options, and options are the real definition of wealth. Once you see this math, you can't unsee it. If this changed how you think about saving, share it with someone who's in the grind right now, someone in year 3 or year 5 who's thinking about giving up. They need to see this math. I'll see you in the next one.